hearing, the committees will deliberate on three main topics. One, the four proposed legislative measure which seeks to amend Republic Act number 11310, or the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program of 4Ps Act, and the proposed legislation institutionalization of the Sustainable Livelihood Program of DSWD. And number three, I'll be asking questions in our agencies later on if we have funds to help out our kababayans during this crisis. I have seen reports, people are asking, suggesting, as a matter of fact, some lawmakers are suggesting to trigger or to start studying the implementation of Bayanihan 3. The question now, it sounds good on paper, but do we have enough funds for this Bayanihan Act, like what we did during the pandemic? Do we have enough funds? Because we did not anticipate this crisis. So magtatanong po ako mamaya sa ating DSWD dahil sila po yung nasa front line nito. Of course, our Department of Labor and Employment, if they have funds for this. What if this crisis will last for another month or two? Can we sustain it? I mean, all this ayuda, may mga nagsasabi, puro ayuda. Hindi naman po natin ginusto ito to the point na wala naman ho tayong plano. As a matter of fact, I don't know. Kaya nga, we're also conducting this hearing later to find out what options do we have? Are these agencies, DSWD, DOLE, DA, DTI? Do we have funding for all these to sustain? And then, how far do we go? Are we only going to concentrate on the poorest of the poor? Are we only going to help the transport sector? What about those people earning minimum wage? Yung mga nagtatrabaho po sa mga tindahan, grocery, mga clerk, janitor, janitress, security guards. Hindi ho sila above minimum wage. Yung iba pa nga po dyan, below minimum wage. Can we take care of these people? They also need help. Hindi lang po ang transport sector, hindi lang po ang farmers, hindi lang po ang fisher folks. Hindi lang po yung poorest of the poor, yung mga members ng 4Ps, but also these people. Let us not forget, ito na naman po tayo. I mean, I've been reading the newspapers, we're so focused. Tama naman po, tulungan natin, mahirap. But what about the backbone of our labor force? The people in the supermarkets, the baggers, the cashiers, the janitors, janitress, security guards. Will they also get financial assistance from the government? Kaya ito po isa sa pag-uusapan natin. We'll be asking the various agencies kung, kasi I keep on reading, we're so focused in several sectors, but what about this sector? Those who are earning minimum wage or below minimum wage, will they also benefit? I mean, will they be given assistance by the government? Or hahayaan lang natin na ganyan na lang? So when we talk of ayuda, ladies and gentlemen, we also have to look at everybody. Hindi lang po yung poorest of the poor sa pinakaibaba, transport sector, farmers, fishermen. What about po yung mga nasa middle class? Let us not forget these people. Yan po naging problema natin nung pandemic. Hindi po agad naasikaso sila. Kaya umalma po yung mga ito na, wait, nagtatrabaho kami. Wait, yung pinambibigay nyo na ayuda galing sa buwis po namin, taxes. So let's not forget this, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so all those po, we will be talking about later. And at this point, let me recognize our committee secretary to read the record and the agenda and to acknowledge the resource persons in this joint public hearing. Comsec, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning to everyone. The committee will resume discussions on the following bills, which seek to amend Republic Act number 11310, otherwise known as the Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino Program Act. We have Senate Bill number 31, an act expanding the Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino Program 4-piece, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 11310, otherwise known as the Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino Program Act, introduced by Senator Panfilo M. Lacson. Senate Bill number 1344, an act strengthening the Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino Program through Parent Leaders Adult Education Program, introduced by Senator Risa Hontiveros. Senate Bill number 1487, an act expanding the coverage of Pantawid Filipino Program, amending certain sections of Republic Act number 11310, otherwise known as the Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino Program Act, and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Jinggoy Ejercito Estrada, and Senate Bill number 1496, an act promoting entrepreneurship and livelihood for sustainable development, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 11310, otherwise known as an act institutionalizing the Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino Program, introduced by Senator Manuel Lito M. Lapid. The committees will also have its initial hearing on the following bills, which seek to institutionalize the Sustainable Livelihood Program of the Department of Social Welfare and Development. We have Senate Bill number 766, an act institutionalizing Sustainable Livelihood Program, SLP, of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Erwin T. Tulfo. And Senate Bill number 787, an act institutionalizing the Sustainable Livelihood Program and appropriating funds therefore, introduced by Senator Lauren Legarda. The committees also would like to acknowledge the following resource persons. From the Department of Social Welfare and Development, we have Undersecretary Aliyah Q. Dimaporo. Good morning po. Assistant Secretary Marites Emaristela. Good morning, ma'am. Assistant Secretary Elaine Falyacurna. Good morning po. From the Department of Budget and Management, we have Attorney Tricia Baraan. Good morning, ma'am. From the attending online, we have from the Department of the Interior and Local Government, we have Miss Evelyn Castro. Good morning, ma'am. From the Department of Labor and Employment, we have Miss Adeline De Castro. Assistant Secretary Adeline De Castro. Good morning po. From the Department of Trade and Industry, we have Assistant Director Susan May Salonga and Senior Vice President Angelito Acupan. Good morning po. From the National Anti-Poverty Commission, we have Attorney Andre Nicolo Tayag. Good morning po. From the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, we have Miss Maria Linda Andrade. Good morning, ma'am. From the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples, we have Mr. Reynaldo Dingal. Good morning po. From the Department of Information and Communications Technology, we have Assistant Secretary Maria Victoria Castro. Good morning, ma'am. Attending online, we have from the Department of Health, National Nutrition Council, and Mr. John Daniel Gonzalez and Miss Maria Eda Maningat. From the Department of Education, we have Dr. Marilet Almeida. Good morning po. From the Department of Agriculture, we have Director Lorna Belinda Calda. Good morning, ma'am. From the Department of Science and Technology, we have Miss Jonalyn Morales. Good morning po. From the Commission on Higher Education, we have Mr. Arnold Ancheta. Good morning, sir. From the Philippine Statistics Authority, we have Attorney Henedine Palabras. Good morning po. Hi, ma'am. Miss Jeline Faye Fernandez. Good morning po. From the Philippine Gaming and Amusement Corporation, we have Attorney Janine Marian Javier. Good morning po. From the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, we have Attorney Lauro Patiag and Ms. Arnel Casas. Good morning, sirs. From the National Electrification Administration, we have Attorney Rosan Rosero Lee. Good morning, ma'am. From the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, we have Mr. Edmond Quaresma. Good morning, sir. From the League of Provinces of the Philippines, we have Director Angelica Sanchez. Good morning, ma'am. From the From the Philippine Institute of Development Studies, we have Miss Chris Ann Melad. Good morning po. From the Samahan ng Nagkakaisang Pamilya ng Pantawid Incorporated, we have Miss Melanie Cervantes. Good morning, ma'am. I think I have recognized everybody. That is all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Committee Secretary. To our resource persons present here today, guests and fellow Filipinos, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Today's agenda focuses on two cornerstone measures in our nation's fight against poverty. First, the proposed amendments to the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, a priority measure under the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, and second, the institutionalization of the Sustainable Livelihood Program of the Department of Social Welfare and Development. We had the initial hearing on the four-piece bills last month on March 3, 2026. As a quick recap of that public hearing, napag-usapan na po natin ang pangangailangang mas palakasin pa at gawing mas tumutugon ang programa sa kasalukuyang kalagayan ng ating mga benepisyaryo. Ngayon, layunin natin na mas laliman pa ang diskusyon upang matiyak na ang mga reforma hindi lamang teknikal kundi tunay na makabuluhan sa buhay ng mga pamilya na ating pinaglilingkuran. Sa amin pong nakapanayam, marami pa ring hinaing sa kasalukuyang sistema ng 4Ps. Bagaman ito ay nakakatulong sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay. Let's listen.
Hindi naman din halos lahat ng kasali sa 4Ps yung deserve nila. Na yung iba nakikiano sa 4Ps kahit kaya naman nila. Yung bang dapat talaga, parang iano talaga ng government kung sino talaga yung nangangailangan. Hindi yung kahit may kaya naman kasali sa 4Ps.
Ay ba? Hindi po eh. Kasi ewan po kung bakit gano'n. Dapat po talagang bago eh. Maraming hindi nakakatanggap eh. Hindi ko alam po saan ang mali, pero dapat talagang bago eh.
Habang ang 4Ps ay patuloy na nagbibigay ng agarang tulong, kailangan din nating siguraduhin na ito ay nagsisilbing tulay tungo sa pangmatagalang pag-unlad ng ating mga kababayan. Hindi lamang pansamantalang ginhawa, kundi pangmatagalang pag-angat sa kahirapan. Also, we will hold the initial hearing on the proposed institutionalization of Sustainable Livelihood Program or SLP of the SWD. Ito ay isang mahalagang hakbang upang gawing mas matibay, mas tuloy-tuloy, at epektibo ang programang naglalayong bigyan ng kakayahan at oportunidad ang ating mga kababayan
Hindi naman din halos lahat
na makapaghanap buhay at mag-self-reliant. Let's watch.
ng kasali sa 4Ps yung deserve nila. Na yung iba nakikiano sa 4Ps kahit kaya naman nila. Yung bang dapat talaga, parang iano talaga ng
I think we already played this. Tech.
Siyempre Ma'am Arno, livelihood program kasi maraming
Anyway, sa madaling salita, kung ang 4Ps ay nagsisilbing sandigan, ang SLP naman ay daan patungo sa sariling pag-unlad, we must ensure that these two programs do not stand apart, but instead walk hand in hand to support, uplift, and guide every Filipino family towards a more secure and hopeful future. Para po sa ating lahat na narito ngayon, tungkulin po nating suriin kung sapat ba ang umiiral na mekanismo, tukuyin ang mga puwang sa implementasyon at maglatag ng mga pulisiyang tunay na makapagbabago ng buhay. Let us be guided by evidence, field realities, and the voices of our beneficiaries, sapagkat sila po ang tunay na sentro ng ating mga desisyon. Ang ating hangarin ay hindi lamang magpasa ng batas, kundi lumikha ng mga programang may malasakit, may direksyon, at may pangmatagalang epekto. We will now resume consideration of the proposed amendments to the 4Ps and later discuss the proposed institutionalization of SLP. I expect a constructive discussion. Bukas po ang komite sa mga suhestyon po at rekomendasyon na magpapabuti sa mga panukalang batas na ito. With that, I urge everyone to engage wholeheartedly in today's discussion so that together we can strengthen the 4Ps and sustainable livelihood program, creating a measure that genuinely promote social justice, uplift welfare, and foster inclusive development for all Filipino families. Bukod po riyan, we also have to discuss, and I will be asking various agencies, are we ready? We're ready to help mga kababayan po natin kung ang crisis na ito ay umabot pa po ng 1 or 2 months or 3 months pa. Can we sustain yung assistance, DSWD? Can we sustain Department of Labor, Department of Agriculture, DTI? Can we sustain the assistance? Kasi po, baka isang bigayan lang po, magkakaproblema po tayo. Eh kung tatagal po ng tatagal ito, and then we also have siguro to look, hindi lang po yung ilang sectors po natin, poorest of the poor, transport, agriculture, fisher folks. We also have to look those people working po in grocery stores, security guards, janitors. Nandyan din po yung mga senior citizens po natin. I mean, siguro yung approach po natin dito, just like po ng pandemic, si apektado po lahat. Hindi kakayanin yung kinikita, yung mga pensyon ng mga seniors, mga PWDs. Let's start talking about this and let's plan. What do we do? Kung itong giyera na ito tumagal po hanggang Mayo, hanggang Hunyo, can we sustain this assistance to our kababayans? We'll be talking about that later. Anyway, let us now proceed with the hearing proper. The committees will now resume consideration of the proposed amendments to Republic Act number 11310 or the Pantawid Pamilya Pilipino Program Act. For the orderly proceedings of this public hearing, the committees have already heard the position of the SWD, DBM, DICT, DOLE, DA, DOH, DTI, NAPSI, DepEd, DOST, DILG, CHED, UNIFAS, CHED, TESDA, PSA, NCIP, and samahan na nagkakaisang pamilya ng Pantawid Incorporated. We will now hear the positions of the other agencies concerned. For the order of presentation, PAGCOR will present first. Let me remind our presenters today, please limit your presentation to 5 minutes. Kung sobra po yan, baka pwede pong isubmit nyo na lang yung position papers po ninyo para ma-accommodate po natin itong mga resource persons natin po. 7 po ito. Unahin po natin ang PAGCOR, followed by PCSO, National Electrification Administration, Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, League of Provinces of the Philippines, League of Municipalities of the Philippines, Philippine Institute of Development Studies. Let's stay focused on the matter at hand and please limit your presentation to 5 minutes so that we can accommodate everybody. Refrain from veering away from the subject matter. Ladies and gentlemen, these reforms will ensure that 4Ps Act stays fair, effective, and responsive to people's current needs. Let us now start with PAGCOR. PAGCOR, you here? All right, go ahead, please.
Good morning po, Mr. Chair, honorable members of the committee, and fellow guests. On behalf of PAGCOR, we would like to thank this opportunity. We would like to thank the committee for giving us this opportunity to participate in today's deliberations on the proposed amendments to RA 11310. PAGCOR remains committed to supporting these national development programs in accordance with our charter, and we stand ready to work with the committee and its concerned and the concerned agencies should any form of coordination be required from us. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. I just have one quick question, PAGCOR. Ito pong, we invited you for these to talk about this issue about 4Ps and sustainable livelihood. But let me ask you quickly, by any chance, do you have funds, ma'am, kung sakasakaling maubusan ng pondo itong mga agencies natin, DSWD, DOLE, DTI, DA, para pantulong po sa mga kababayan natin with what's happening right now? Do you have, by any chance, funds po para to assist naman po kung kunwari ma-deplete yung funds nila? If this crisis, and God forbid, na wag naman sana, matapos na po ito as soon as possible, can your agency help?
Sir, perhaps just to share, last year, sir, we had a budget total income of 106 billion. 66 billion of that, sir, we provided to contributions to nation building. 50% of our income goes to the national government as our national government share, sir. These are used to fund priority projects such as the Universal Healthcare Act, Maharlika Investment Fund, among others. Perhaps, sir, if the concerned agencies can suggest how we can provide assistance, and baka this is something surely that we can take into consideration, sir, given our current funding obligations as well.
Thank you. Good to hear that. All right, next to present is the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office. Please.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Chair, and to our fellow participants for this committee. On the part of PCSO, we have already submitted our position paper, Mr. Chair, last March 19, 2026, and for these proposed measures, we fully support the intention of these Senate bills. While PCSO was not specifically mentioned, we observed that under Section 15 of the Senate Bill number 31, it provides that those in need of financial assistance shall be entitled to receive financial support for medical assistance, among others. So we submit, Mr. Chair, that pursuant to our mandate, PCSO can extend our assistance on various programs that we are currently undertaking. One is the medical assistance program. The second is the outpatient services program. And the third is the multi-specialty program, Mr. Chair. The MAP program that we have mentioned is our flagship program. So this is designed actually to augment the financial needs of our kababayans for their health-related concerns. So under this program, we have certain obligation that we are going to assume, and this is being guaranteed by virtue of our guarantee letters. So this is a medium of a delivery system. On the other hand, we have our own medical services department being manned by various doctors, regular doctors, and we give daily general medical consultations, basic or minor surgical procedures, dental consultations and treatment, vaccination and immunization services, as well as free medicines, Mr. Chair. So these services allow patients to receive comprehensive primary care without financial burden, so contributing significantly to early detection, timely treatment, and management of common medical and dental conditions. The last program that we have is the latest one, Mr. Chair. This is the so-called multi-specialty clinic. For this program, the PCSO is actually providing free medical consultation by specialists in the cardiology, nephrology, obstetrics, and gynecology. We have also neurology and psychiatry, Mr. Chair, pulmonology, gastroenterology, urology, endocrinology, orthopedic surgery, ophthalmology, and ENT. So all of these specialists are being engaged by the PCSO, and we are currently attending to quite a number of patients every day at the main office of PCSO in Shaw Boulevard. So this coordinated service platform, the patients, many of whom cannot afford specialty care, ito pong mga espesyalista natin, receive expert clinical evaluation. So early diagnosis and continuity of care without cost. So may mga gamot din po tayong pinoprovide dito, Mr. Chair, sa ating multi-specialty clinic. Later, we will be launching also our mini laboratory services. So this will include the X-ray, provision for ECG, and then hopefully CT scan will be made available. And this will augment again the program of PCSO for the health and charity services. So all of this taken together will be aligned with the program of purpose, Mr. Chair. So we are ready to support in that concern of extending medical assistance. Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you, Attorney Patiag. That's a very good news. But while you're at it, I'd like to ask the same question like what I've asked the Philippine Amusement Gaming Corporation. Do you have funds, sir, just in case that we really need support from you? Do you have funds for times like this, like wherein we can ask PAGCOR, the government agencies, the line agencies, can tap the resources of PCSO to help us out? Like since pag-usapan lang natin ng ayuda and we have a crisis in front of us right now and we're starting, DSWD is working hard and working fast to extend assistance to the transport sector, poorest of the poor. There will come a time, sabi ko nga, kung this war will last for several more months, we really, our resources, our funds will really drain out. So, do you have, can you help? I mean, just in case, do you have funds for this emergency situations?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if you look at the mandate of PCSO, so it includes the delivery of services for medical assistance. But you will note also that one of the programs is the health and welfare program. Under this program, we have a number of projects that can be considered to somehow extend. We can adapt a project that can be aligned also with that direction, Mr. Chair, what you have mentioned, addressing the current situation. Just to supplement also, the universal healthcare is one of the recipients of our charity assistance fund. We have also the institutional partnership program, so we can tie up with various foundations and groups, private groups. We have also the other program like the medical equipment program.
No, sir, let me cut you there. What I'm talking about, I'm asking is, do you have funds, sir, na talagang nakatabi dyan in situations like this, that the national government, these line agencies would say, sir, wala na eh, medyo pasaid na. Do you have funds to replenish like PAGCOR does? Or yung inyong mga kinikita is solely for medical assistance, equipment, etc., community? You don't have any funds at all to assist, for example, distribution, cash aid to our people? I mean, this kind of situation, crisis.
Well, as we have reported actually, Mr. Chair, the corporate operating budget of the agency is being prepared and crafted and approved ahead of the current year. However, there are situations that programs can be introduced and realignment of funds can be done. So it's possible in that sense, Mr. Chair. But the funds, all the funds currently are already programmed for this program, for these various programs as mentioned. But it is possible that if there is a need, one program may be considered for realignment in that budgeting program, sir.
All right, Attorney Patiag, that's very well. Anyway, very well said. Next to present is the National Electrification Administration. Nia, are you here? Please limit your presentation to 5 minutes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, as well as to all the guests and participants in this morning's committee hearing. Foremost, the National Electrification Administration would like to express its gratitude and appreciation for the opportunity given to the agency to submit its comment to the Senate bills proposing amendments to Republic Act 11310. NEA fully supports the passing of the above Senate bills into law. The amendments being introduced by our honorable senators will allow the present beneficiaries to graduate from the program, considering the assistance on the skills development trainings and livelihood seminars. However, particularly on the responsibility of the National Electrification Administration in distributing the proposed electric utility grant of 500 pesos per year per household beneficiary under Section 4E of Senate Bill 1496, as authored by Senator Lapid, it is respectfully suggested that the electric utility grant be downloaded directly to the electric cooperatives, considering that the Department of Social Welfare and Development has an in-place coordination with the ECs in the implementation of the Lifeline consumers. This suggested setup will lessen the layer of bureaucracy and fast-track the implementation of the proposed grant once approved. Nonetheless, NEA will coordinate with DSWD for the fast and effective implementation of the electric utility grant embodied in this said Senate Bill 1496. We have already submitted this comment or position paper of NEA to the committee in a letter dated March 2, 2026. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Nea. We go now to the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, or ULAP. You here? All right, please. Go ahead, sir.
Hello. Good afternoon, Senator Tulfo. I'm Edmond de Quaresma, representing the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, and we thank you for inviting us to this session and reaching out to us for comments on the proposed bills amending the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. While our official position paper is still pending approval by the ULAP National Executive Board, the Union of Local Authorities expressed its support for the proposed measures seeking to strengthen and expand the 4Ps program, including the introduction of complementary mechanisms such as the Pantawid Pag-asa. ULAP recognizes the importance of these reforms in enhancing the country's social protection system through a more integrated, efficient, and responsive approach to poverty reduction. These measures are significant in addressing long-standing issues of fragmentation, duplication, and inefficiencies in the delivery of social assistance. By promoting convergence among various national government programs and establishing a more coherent framework for social protection, the proposed reforms aim to ensure the assistance is delivered more effectively, equitably, and transparently to vulnerable individuals and families. ULAP likewise acknowledges the value of strengthening accountability, transparency, and data-driven targeting mechanisms, which are essential in improving service delivery and restoring public trust. Such reforms are aligned with the broader goal of fostering inclusive growth, enhancing resilience among vulnerable populations, and ensuring that government assistance effectively reaches the most in need. At the same time, ULAP underscores the importance of clearly defining and strengthening the roles of local government units as key partners in the implementation of these reforms. Given their proximity to communities and their critical role in service delivery, LGUs must be meaningfully involved in beneficiary identification, validation, monitoring, convergence efforts at the local level. ULAP further emphasizes the need for adequate capacity support, data sharing mechanisms, and fiscal resources to ensure that LGUs can effectively carry out these responsibilities without creating unfunded mandates. Strengthening national-local coordination will be essential to fully realize the intended impact of the expanded 4Ps and ensure that no vulnerable sector is left behind. We will submit our official position paper once it is approved by the ULAP National Executive Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Quaresma of the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines. Now let's move on to the League of Provinces of the Philippines.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair.
Director Sanchez, go ahead.
Yes, the League of Provinces of the Philippines support the expansion of the coverage of the 4Ps program. More particularly, we welcome the amendments aimed at strengthening the capabilities and capacities of its beneficiaries through adult education and enhancing opportunities for livelihood generation and employment. We have, however, Mr. Chair, just three proposals. So first is to require the use of the PhilSys as the primary method of personal identification of the beneficiaries. So in cases where the beneficiaries have not been registered to the PhilSys, we recommend that the DSWD and the PSA promulgate a policy to facilitate their registration. Second, Mr. Chair, we strongly advocate the use of the CBMS in the identification of potential beneficiaries, with a regular review of the same every 3 years to coincide with the updating of the CBMS database. And then third, Mr. Chair, in order to allow LGUs who choose to implement a localized 4-piece program, we propose a provision that will allow these LGUs access to the beneficiary lists within their territorial jurisdiction. However, it must be upon formal request to the DSWD and subject to the provisions of the Data Privacy Act. At the same time, we welcome the proposal to institutionalize the Pantawid Pag-asa program as an effort to consolidate the various social protection programs to ensure the necessary short-term, sometimes one-off provision of support is provided not only to poor households but also marginalized and vulnerable individuals and families in crisis situations. Likewise, one of the more important components to ensure the strengthening of the 4Ps program and the Pantawid Pag-asa is the interoperability of the various social protection databases among government agencies on the various social protection assistance to ensure a wider coverage and avoid unnecessary duplication. We shall be submitting our formal position paper, Mr. Chair, upon its approval. Thank you.
Director Sanchez, thank you. League of Municipalities of the Philippines.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much for this invitation. The League of Municipalities of the Philippines, as the association of 1,493 municipalities nationwide, would like to express our support to the proposed expanded Pantawid Pamilyang program. LMP recognizes the critical role of 4Ps in reducing poverty and improving human capital among poorest Filipino families. We are likewise committed to the welfare of our constituents, the majority of whom resides in the municipalities and are among the primary beneficiaries of this program, and we acknowledge that, Mr. Chair. While LMP is broadly supportive of the bill's objective, we express serious reservations regarding the mandate imposing upon the local government units, particularly requiring all municipalities to enact local social protection ordinance and to embed 4Ps related programs in local planning and budgeting instruments. We will submit our formal and approved position paper discussing our reservations and concerns and proposed amendments to convey our but again, to convey our general support, Mr. Chair. LMP is LMP would like to convey our general support to this expanded program. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, League of Municipalities. We now go to our final presenter today on this matter, the Philippine Institute of Development Studies, PIDS. You here?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and everyone in this hall. We have the Philippine Institute for Development Studies has already submitted its official position paper on the 3rd of March. However, I would like to read the following statement summarizing our position. PIDS welcomes the Senate's initiative to strengthen and expand the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, and the proposed measures collectively address real and documented gaps in program design, and we wish to share the Institute's comments on each major area. Number one, on benefit adequacy. Our research shows that the purchasing power of 4-piece grants has declined by approximately 26% from 2019 to 2025. For a typical household with 3 children at 3 different school levels, this amounts to around 18,000 of cumulative loss in real value.
system or microphone. And at the same time, to give way to our guests to have their lunch. So we'll suspend the hearing for a few minutes. Thank you for your understanding. hearing. Before we move to our next agenda, which is the Sustainable Livelihood Program, I have a few quick questions po sa DSWD. My number one question is, how is the DSWD assessing the impact of energy emergency on social protection programs, particularly yung mga Pantawid, Pamilyang Pilipino program, mga beneficiaries natin? Because we really definitely will have energy crisis here. And yung sa Sustainable Livelihood Programs, meron na po ba kayo na pag-usapan, na pagplanuhan kung ano pong gagawin na para makaagapay po yung mga beneficiaries ng 4Ps, beneficiaries ng SLP? Kasi nga po, kahit yung may mga trabaho, hirap na hirap po makaagapay. Pero lalo ito, nakadepende lang po yung mga member ng 4Ps sa 4Ps and SLP. Meron na po ba kayong program para nga ma-resolve itong problems na ito? DSWD.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman Senator Erwin Tulfo. We are grateful that you are asking these questions because they are very important. Sa ngayon, we are acting on crisis. So talagang stopgap measure po na yon. And we are acting as fast as we can to deliver the instructions of the President. And our focus is on the fuel crisis. So ito yung mga transport groups. With regard to its effect on our other programs, sa totoo lang, even our work from home, in order for us to save energy, to contribute to the nation's energy savings advocacy, we are still learning. So we are in the process of discussing and seeing how this will affect long term. With regards to yung sinabi po niyo about ayuda for the next 3 months, kaya naman. Kaya in the short term for the next 3 months. But we have to remember that this is a stopgap measure that affects our other programs. We have regular programs in IX. We're currently using our IX funds to respond to the fuel crisis. But we have regular programs na syempre affected na rin po sila. The medical, the burial, and other cash and financial assistance programs. And we would like to offer that as a stopgap measure, maganda ito, but it needs to be complemented with more long-term efforts. Pag 6 months to 12 months, medyo that risks the sustainability of these programs are in question. It would risk dependency over these type of stopgap measures.
But my question, Yusek Dimaporo, how long can you sustain this? For example, this crisis will last until June, July. Do we still have the resources? Still have the resources to assist yung mga kababayan natin? And we're only talking here right now, ma'am, yung mga transport sectors pa lang. Well, inuumpisahan nyo na rin. I know yung poorest of the poor. Pero what about those other sectors po? I know yung I will be asking DA later kung when are they going to start assisting the farmers and fisher folks. So, ang tanong natin, gaano kahaba pa? I mean, yung pondo ninyo para makatulong kung sakasakali ang giyera na ito tumagal hanggang Hunyo, hanggang June or July. Tapos, ang natutulungan nyo pa lang so far is lang yung transport sector at poorest of the poor nga. Paano po yung ibang sektor? Paano kung umalma ng ibang sektor? Kami rin, kailangan din namin. Kami rin na mga below minimum wage or minimum wage, kailangan din namin ng ayuda, ng tulong. How is that? Do you have enough to sustain this or to help even this another group of sector?
Honorable Chairman, in the short term, which could reach up to June and July, the next 3 months, kaya pa naman. But it would also depend on budget prioritization. If we do run out, we would be asking replenishment of our funds. And that would be a question of how this is prioritized all across the agencies and all across the national government. But 100% rest assured, Honorable Chair, the DSWD will deliver as instructed.
Very well, thank you. Then let me transfer to the Department of Labor and Employment. Sec De Castro, kayo ho sa DOLE, Meron na po ba? I've read some news articles na you started distributing itong under sa tupad program po ninyo. Pero gaano po kalawak and ang target ho ninyo? Ito po ba nationwide? Ito po ba talagang sa anong klase pong mga sektor na manggagawa? Because we have a lot, di po ba? So ang sa pondo po ninyo, budget po ninyo, ilang katao ang pwede pong matulungan ng dole ng pondo po ninyo?
Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chair. So initially, the department has allocated 1.2 billion as fund to be utilized to support for assistance. Ito po yung magiging contribution ng department dun sa uplift ng buong gobyerno in response to the crisis. Primarily, we'll be drawing our funds from our two major social protection flagship programs, and this is TUPAD and the livelihood programs. Meron na po kaming initial na mga pag-uusap specifically for the transport sector in coordination with the OTR for our TUPAD na program for Tuloy Pasada. Apart from the transport sector, yung pondo po will really be allocated for all the vulnerable workers that will be affected by the crisis. In response to the OFWs, we have been in close coordination with DMW with respect to the returning OFWs needing reintegration services. Yung initial po na partnership namin with DMW, nakakasana po ang mga job fair across the different regions pagdating po sa pagtulong sa ating mga OFWs for employment facilitation services na nag-indicate po dun sa survey po or yung profiling ng DMW with respect to the assistance that they are needing. We have been in constant coordination with our regional offices for the mobilization of our different programs. For the local workers, sir, we have initial coordination with the different employers such as ECOP para po ma-encourage yung pagre-report at ng mga affected natin ng mga establishments sa department para makita po natin kung ano po yung mga nagiging epekto ng ating conflict sa Middle East right now with respect to the local businesses. So kasama po yan sa minomonitor po ngayon ng DOLE, and later po we can provide report na lang, sir. Siguro we can submit to your office nung mas komprehensibong report regarding this initial information na nakukuha po ng department. But yeah, yun po yung kanina yung mini-mention nyo paano yung ibang sector. So we have been coordinating with our partner employers po para ma-make sure po na ma-report po at makuha po natin yung mga datos pagdating sa sino po yung mga naapektuhang mga establishment at ilang mga workers po nila yung apektado. But initially yun po yung pwedeng ma-share namin ngayon po sa hearing na ito, yung pondo na inalat ng department, yung 1.2 billion. And
will that be enough? I'm sorry for cutting in,
Yes.
Asek De Castro. Sapat po ba yung 1.2 billion na yan sa mga manggagawa po natin? Manggagawa sa factory, manggagawa sa construction, manggagawa sa iba't ibang trabaho, sektor, bukod po sa transportasyon. At yung 1.2 na billion po, diba? Isang bigayan lang yan o may kasunod pa? Kasi let's be conservative na baka tumagal ito, di ba? Mas maganda na yung we're ready, we anticipate na tatagal ito ng ilang buwan kaysa sa sandali lang yan. Papakinggan natin yung leader po ng Amerika na quick, surgical, etc. Pero baka tumagal, So, yung 1.2, yun na ba yun? O meron pa kayong mailalabas kung sakasakali para sa ibang mga sektor pa, ibang mga manggagawa natin?
Sir, initially yun po yung napag-usapan po sa department, but we will be constantly assessing yung situation para po makita kung yung lawak po nung magiging epekto nung sa iba pang sektor, because for bukod sa tupad at sa livelihood, we also have the adjustment measure programs na pondo that can help establishment na nangangailangan po ng transition fund para po maitawid yung kanilang businesses and their workers for during this crisis. So siguro po sir, we will be constantly assessing yung aming pag katulad po ng DSWD, kung ano po yung status ng aming funds in relation to the possible impact later on ng crisis. We definitely will be immediately reporting it to proper agencies like BBM if the need for more mobilization of funds will be necessary for the department.
That's what I'm not concerned, and I'm kind of worried as De Castro. I should address this question to the Department of Budget and Management, kasi nagagamit na po natin yung pondo natin na pondo para sa regular programs like recovery efforts sa mga devastated by typhoon, by calamity, same thing with DSWD. Pero nagagamit na po natin ngayon na hindi naman talaga siya intended for this problem, dahil itong problema na ito dumating lang po, whether we like it or not, nadamay na po tayo rito. So my question is, Department of Budget and Management, nagagamit na po yung funds para sa kagaya po ng mga AIX na ito na supposedly pag may mga bagyo tayo, mga earthquake, yung kaagad ang ginagamit ng DSWD. Do we have funds like after this? June, July, August, typhoon season, meron pa kaya o baka magamit na lahat ng mga agencies na ito, AX, Tupad, and wala na tayong pang-replenish?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. The economic managers are well aware of the crisis po ngayon, but we are closely coordinating po to ensure that there will be funds available po for all the programs and projects po that will be needed for the purpose po. Thank you po, Mr. Chair.
So there's nothing to worry kasi based on what you're saying, so pag nagamit itong mga pondo nila na para dapat sa mga programs really intended, pero dahil nga dito sa emergency na ito nagagamit na, meron naman po tayong pantapal dyan just in case sa darating na mga bagyo. Pag humingi ang DSWD, kailangan naman emergency funds kasi may bagyo, may earthquake, sunod-sunod. You still have to pondo para maibaba, mai-download sa DSWD, sa Department of Labor. You have that, right?
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
All right, good to hear that. The Department of Agriculture here, do you have a representative? There you go. Director Calda, right? Ma'am, tanong ko, yung sa mga farmers po natin, fisher folks, yung mga farmers, kailangan po nilang gasoline para sa kanilang mga tractors. Ganun din po yung mga fisherman. Naibaba na po ba? Ilang, saan na po? Nabigyan na po ba lahat? Or kulang pa? Ilan pa po ang tinitignan natin na kailangan bigyan ng ayuda?
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Actually, the fuel subsidy for the department, we will start this month pa lang po. So,
Well, what's the delay, ma'am?
we're still, yung inaayos po yung mga listahan, sir. Kasi we give fuel po dun sa may mga makinarya na, at saka yung sa may mga boats, sir.
Correct.
So, sila po yung bibigyan. So,
Wala po ba kayong database kung ilan ang fisherman na may sariling mga makina, yun ang nagsasagwan lang, yung nakikisakay lang, yung mga fisherman, yung mga farmers naman natin nakikihiram lang or gumagamit ng kalabaw? Wala pa ho tayong datos na gano'n para pag may mga sitwasyon na ganito, alam na ho natin.
Yes, sir. We have, sir. Actually, we have the what we call the boat R. Ito po yung mga listahan ng mga fisher folk na mayroon pong mga bangka. It's either motorized po or non-motorized. Meron pong listahan ng BIFAR na ganun, sir.
Pero next, did I hear it right? Next month pa ninyo babaan ng ayuda ito or this month?
Sir, this month po.
Ngayon, April.
Yes, sir.
Ilan
Yes, Mr.
ang
Chair.
ibababa po ninyo? May you know, please.
Okay. For the fuel subsidy, Mr. Chair, meron po tayo sa GAA na around 100 million, which will benefit 14,400 farmers and 15,669 fisher folk. Then the amount for the farmers is 5,000 per farmer, and for the fisher folk is 3,000 per fisher folk po.
That's one time po or may mga kasunod pa yan? I'm sorry pero
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at kasi ma'am, baka umabot tayo ng Mayo, ng Hunyo kasi sabi dati nung nagkagera ito ilang araw lang. Very positive po yung thinking ng superpower po, Israel and US. Ngayon umabot na po we were going to 6 weeks na po ito. Few more weeks, 2 more weeks nasa 2 buwan na po. What if pag umabot po ito ng May and June, tama-tama, taniman pa naman po yun, di po ba? Lalo na po yung mga fisherman natin, meron po ba? May second round po ba? Yun po yung tanong kagad ng mga kababayan natin
Mr. Chair, aside from the fuel subsidy, we also have the presidential assistance to farmers and fisher folk amounting to 10 billion po, which will benefit around 4.17 million farmers and fishers. So ang may bibigay po sa kanila is nasa 2,325 pesos per beneficiaries po. Starting this April na rin po ang distribution. Then aside from this po, the Secretary Laurel is requesting for the release of the RCEF fund at least amounting to 7 billion for the RFFA, yung Rice Farmers Financial Assistance na with he's requesting na ma-release na po ito. Kapag na-release po ito, kapag napondohan, each rice farmers will receive 3,200 po.
All right. Balik po ako sa DSWD. May pera po ngayon pang distribute na. Actually, nakita ko po si Secretary Rex talagang masigasig po nag-distribute. So ongoing ho ito. After po ng transport sector, ano hong susunod na sektor na tutulungan po natin?
Na yun, wala pa pong pinag-usapan ano yung next sector. But in terms of funding, meron po. It's been publicly announced na half of IX will be specifically set aside for this crisis.
Okay. Pero wala pa ho tayong specific target na after natapos sa bigyan natin ng ayuda, itong transport, meron na po ba susunod? O dito naman tayo, isusunod naman natin mga manggagawa, yung mga nasa nagtatrabaho sa fast food, sa grocery, etc. Kasi apektado rin po sila. Yusek de Mapuro, yeah, you know that and I know that. Dahil hindi na mo kalakihan ang sweldo. Kahit yung malalaki po ang sweldo, umaaray. So, meron na po ba tayong target na yan or pag-uusapan pa lamang po natin?
Pag-uusapan pa lang po, Mr. Chairman, but you will be the first to get the list of the sectors that we will be helping.
Please do so. Kasi po, yung last na nabasa ko kanina, nasa 170 pesos na po yata yung diesel po natin. Marami po sa sasakyan natin, diesel po. Okay, so pati yung pamasahe, expect na tataas. Let's go to DTI, Department of Trade and Industry. What is your contribution to this, Director Salonga? Aside from monitoring your prices, etc. Pero I am sure medyo mahirap naman po kasi ang sagot po sa atin ng mga industries is like tumaas po ang transportation costs, ang production costs. So what can you contribute, DTI?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for inviting the DTI to this hearing. Ang DTI po naman ay nagbibigay po ng tulong po para sa pangkabuhayan. Kabit po nung ating pong usapin tungkol doon sa mga batas, mga panukalang batas. Ang DTI po sumusuporta po sa SLP, gayon din po sa 4Ps para po sa entrepreneurial track po ng ating mga beneficiaries. Sa ngayon po, meron po kaming ilang mga programa na pwede pong ma-access ng ating mga beneficiaries ng 4Ps through the SLP program. Nariyan po yung Youth Enterprise Program. Ito po ay para sa mga kabataan, edad 18 hanggang 30. Tinutulungan po sila para magkaroon po ng entrepreneurial mindset at kung sila po ay sigurado na po nakatutuloy sa kanilang negosyo, tinutulungan din po sila ma-matchmake po sa ating mga financing organizations. Meron din po kami yung pangkabuhayan sa pagbangon at ginhawa. Ito po yung PPG. Meron po kami 80 million po para sa programa po na yan. Ito po ay later release nga lang po. Kaya lang po in the meantime po, we are preparing po our beneficiaries na mag-build na kanilang capacities to engage po into business. So, meron po kaming leveling from zero, kahit po wala silang pera, basta may intention po talaga na mag-go into business, tinuturuan po namin yan through our negosyo centers na nakakalat po buong bansa na po. Meron na po kaming 1,400 negosyo centers na pwede pong lapitan ng ating mga beneficiaries para po makakuha ng information, ng technical training, skills training, para po pag dumating na po yung ponto po ng aming nga pong pangkabuhayan sa pagbago at ginhawa, handa na po sila kung saan po nila gagamitin yung pera po na maibibigay po sa kanila.
Ang problem ko po dito, DTI, DOLE, and DA and DSWD, yung intended po na pondo para sa programa, kagaya po niya pangkabuhayan, you're mentioning DSW, Sustainable Livelihood, same thing with DOLE and kayo po sa DTI. Baka sa halip na mapunta po talaga sa pagpupondo para sa kabuhayan, magagamit na po ngayon. Common po sa atin, it's a common practice. May naitabi nga, may pampuhunan, gamitin ko muna kasi it's an emergency. Yun po yung nagiging problem natin dito. That's the scenario. Gagamitin ko muna ito kasi walang-wala. Kailangan na natin. Kaysa hindi, pangkabuhayan natin. Sasabihin ni Mrs., sabihin ni Mr., anong gusto mong kabuhayan? O mamatay ng dilat yung mga mata ng anak natin. So, no choice but to use the funds. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I understand where you're coming from. Yung program, para dito itong program na ito, di ba? But nagagamit yun That's the problem. Itong pangkabuhayan nga, gamitin ko muna ito. Tsaka na lang po, I will worry, di ba? I will worry kung saan kukuha na naman yung kabuhayan. So this is the problem, di ba? And let me ask the National Anti-Poverty Commission here, Atty. Tayag. Will you agree with me na yung isipan ng mga babae natin pag nagigipit talaga na may itinabi rito o pondo para sa ganito, nagagamit. Di po ba? Para pantapal mo na dahil emergency.
Yes po. Yun po ang sentimento ng batayang sektor. Na pag mayroon na po sila kagad nakatatanggap na ayuda, kagad po nila yung kinukonsume for sustenance.
Pero na para hindi naman para doon, para sa pagkain, kagaya niyan, sustainable livelihood para pampuhunan, like DOLE also and DTI, nagagamit.
Yes po. Yes po.
Nagagamit dahil kulang sa mapuputulan na ng kuryente. Buti nga walang pasok ng mga bata ngayon pag graduation na. Ang problema po natin pag ngayong pasukan. How? Are we ready? Ito po yung tanong ko Balik po ako sa DSW, ASEC, USEC de Maporo. Pagpasukan po, mandyan po yung katakot-takot, matrikula, mga school supplies. So paano ho ito? How do you have plans po, or are you in coordination with other agencies on how to tackle this?
Our initial plans are to save. So every department has directives to have savings in case of further emergencies, kung magiging long-term po itong emergencies. But in the short term, kaya pa naman. If it's more than 6 months to 1 year.
So let's talk about June, ma'am. Yusek de Maporo, pasukan po ngayon June. Kailangan ng mga bata ng bagong gamit, ng mga sapatos, uniforme, okay, matrikula, etc. Paano po ito?
Within our programs po. Still within our budget.
Programs.
By the summer, yes po.
Pero ang problem, nababawasan po dahil programs na yan na ginagamit na po natin ngayon, yung assistance for individual in crisis situation, usually ang target po talaga, people in crisis. Well, sabagay, crisis po tayo. Pero hindi po ba ginagamit din niya pag sa panahon ng mga kalamidad? Paano po yan kumaubos dahil ginamit na po natin ngayon?
Yes, that is the IX lang po. Yung ibang programs are still safe. But the IX, we did set aside half of our IX program for this fuel crisis.
All right. Good to hear. Balik tayo sa iyo, ASEC de Castro. Ganon din po ba may preparation ang DOLE, anticipation? Ngayong pasukan, yung manggagawa natin, bibilhan niya yung mga anak niya ng mga kagamitan sa school, nandyan yung mga contributions, etc. Meron po bang may bibigay pa? Kung lalapit po yung manggagawa sa atin dahil nabigyan niya na po natin pang emergency ngayon, pero kampasukan, meron po bang may bibigay ang inyo pong ahensya?
Mr. Chair, sa bahagi naman po ng DOLED, definitely po we will be constantly monitoring how the funds, like for example, the initial funds of 1.2 billion, yung disbursement po nung 1.2 billion, anticipatory naman po ang department, kung in case po yun yung sinasabi ninyo, patuloy nating makita yung mga reports and with respect to ilan po yung nagiging naapektuhan, lalo na po yung sa local ones na may mga pumapasok na po tayong report. Rest assured po na yung department will always be assessing po yung status ng aming funds, and we will be anticipating po yung kung kailangan po namin ng replenishment nung mga pondo in case po yung iba naming mga programa ay na-mobilize na rin po namin. So yun naman po yung assurance na kaya naming ibigay from the department, because as mentioned also by the different departments, the different executive branches right now are really in constant coordination under AFLEP with respect to how we are mobilizing our funds to support the packages that government intends to provide for our affected workers.
Alright. Ang isa pa pong concern ko rito, ito po yung mga members po natin ng 4Ps, dahil ito naman po tinatalakay natin ngayong araw, itong batas na ito. Matanong ko lamang po, paano po, kasama di po ba sa mga alituntunin na pag ikaw ay member ng 4Ps, kasama dyan po sa iyong mga responsibility, ipadala yung mga anak mo sa eskwelahan, pag-aralin, di po ba, check up. Paano po kung wala na pong kuryente, yung hindi na makapag-aral ng bata, wala na pamasahe papunta sa school, sa paaralan, sa health facilities. Paano po ito? Ano po ang gagawin ho natin dito? Exempted po ba yung panahon na ito ng crisis dahil hindi nakapasok yung anak niya? Kasi isa po sa mga alituntunin yan, pa-check up ng bata, kailangan pumasok sa school, hindi nga po makapasok. Sabihin po na beneficiary, kulang po, wala po kami pamasahe para sa anak namin. Hindi po ako makapagpa-check up ng mga bata, o ako na buntis, nagdadalang tao, hindi rin po ako makapagpa-check up dahil wala pong pamasahe, mataas pong pamasahe. Yung bata naman po, hindi makapag-aral na dahil madilim ho, kuryente, etc. Paano po ito? Pamasahe. Mag-a-adjust po ba ang 4Ps na to accommodate this problem? Kasi may certain kwan lang po, di po ba? Pag hindi mo nasusunod yung mga alituntunin, matatanggal ka po sa 4Ps. Paano po ito? Ito po ba yung napag-aralan na po ninyo?
Honorable Chair, the IRR of the 4Ps has a provision na pag in situations of force majeure, katulad nitong crisis, the conditions will be waived. So the program will still go as planned, na makukuha pa rin nila yung grants, and the conditions will be waived in situations of force majeure. So hindi po apektado ang benefits of our 4Ps beneficiary.
All right, thank you. Well, before we proceed to our next agenda about the Sustainable Livelihood Program, I'd like to ask our resource persons if you have any reservations or concerns or objection to the proposed amendments to the 4Ps. Go ahead, ma'am, the one raising hand over there. Can you introduce your name? I can see your name po.
Good morning po, Honorable Chair and distinguished guests. Melanie Cervantes po, Vice President po ng Samahan na Nagkakaisang Pamilyang Pantawid. I-address ko po yung concerns ko sa 4 na agencies na alam kong malaki ang maitutulong sa aming mga 4Ps. Una po sa DA, masiguro po na localized po, may mga mabibilhan na murang bigas, murang mga basic commodities, kasi sa panahon po ngayon na krisis ang lahat, tapos hindi po enough yung aming mga hawak na budget. Malaking bagay po kung mare-regulate na may mababang mabibilhan. Yung mga farmers po na ibang lugar na nabubulok lang yung mga gulay, sana po magawa nila ng paraan na ma-deliver yun sa iba-ibang lugar para may sapat na mabibilhan po ang mga 4Ps members na mura lang po yung mabibili. Tapos sa TTI naman po, natutuwa po kami sa pagbibigay nila ng mga trainings. Mahalaga po sa amin na mapaayos po yung aming kakayahan para kami makahanap ng mas maraming kabuhayan para sa aming pamilya. Sa DOLE naman po, with regards sa tupad, hihilingin ko po o isasuggest ko na kung maaari yung sa tupad po, wag naman po sa paglilinis, i-convert po sa integrated farming para makatulong din po magkaroon ng maraming source ng mga gulay, mga ano. Kasi kung tupad po ay pagwawalis lang o yung mga nadadaya po ng mga tupad beneficiaries yung kanilang natetake na grants sa tupad dahil magwawalis pa ilang piraso tapos iisang tao picture lang. In reality po, ayaw po namin ng ganoon. Ang Porpis members po ay hindi nakakatanggap ng tupad dahil dinideprive po kami dahil kami tumatanggap na raw ng grant. Madodouble daw po yung aming nako-compensate. Pero sa akin po, malaking bagay kung ang tupad po ay idadivert sa integrated farming kasi sa panahon na krisis tayo ngayon, ang hirap-hirap pong bumili ng mga commodities. Pangatlo po, yung sa DOLE rin po, yung mga job fairs po nila, magpa-participate ka, pupunta ka sa mga job fairs, pero nadidiscriminate ka. Tatawagan ka, aantay ka ng mag-aantay, pero bakit po napakaliit ng chances na mabigyan kami talaga ng makakatulong sa aming kabuhayan? Mahalaga po sa amin ang expanded purpose bill kasi ito po ay pagpapatuloy ng magandang programa. Sa totoo po, significant po sa amin ang aming grant, pero higit sa lahat, mas significant sa amin ang whole approach po ng program ng Porpis. Dahil, kagaya ko po, ako'y sinasabi nila na yung mga Porpis ayaw nang umalis sa programa. Kami po ay, nung makapagpatapos ng anak, kusa po kaming nag-wave, gumraduate kami sa programa, at patuloy pa rin ina-advocate ng mas mapaganda ang serbisyong binibigay sa tao. Dahil naniniwala kami, bawat isang batang binabago mo yung buhay, bumabago ka rin ng mundo. Nagbibigay ka ng pag-asang mabago yung pagkatao. Dahil kami po nagsimula sa pamamasura. Ngayon, nakapagtapos po yung dalawa kong anak, isang business administration, isang seaman, at nag-aaral pa ng kolehiyo yung dalawa kahit wala na sa programa. Hindi po totoo na pag Porpis ka, habang buhay kang nakaasa, may pangarap po kami sa buhay.
Maraming salamat po. Good point po. And because of that, quick question lang po sa balik po tayo sa DOLE. Kung nga po ma'am, napapansin ko ba, puro walis ng walis lang ginagawa ng tupad. Hindi wala na ba ibang trabaho? Naka-t-shirt, nakalagay tupad. Akala ko nga nung una po, mayroon po ako nadaan na bayan, naka-t-shirt. Akala ko, kuan po yun yung inmate o PDL eh. Yung pala tupad pala siya, nakadilaw na t-shirt. Sabi ko, ay tupad pala ito. Pero wala na po bang iba na way na kailangan ba talaga sila magwalis, bibigyan ng dustpan at walis tingting? Di ba pwedeng magpintura man lang dyan, magpintura ng mga eskwelahan, mga classroom na sira, etc. Is there any other way? Just sweeping lang? Tama po si nanay?
Nire-recognize po natin yung mga inputs po ni nanay, no. Yung isang kahilingan ni nanay pagdating sa tupad, hindi lang po pagwawalis, actually yung nasa listahan nung iba't ibang mga proyekto, although yun nga po yung image na nakikita natin, but the department is working hard to make sure na hindi ganon yung maging tingin natin sa tupad, because actually marami po tayong mga beneficiaries na sinusupport with respect to training programs po na using the tupad. Meron din po tayo yung kaninang kagustuhan ni nanay, no. Marami na rin po tayong mga projects that we mobilize tupad funds for integrated farming para po sa mga in relation to agri na endeavors, hindi lang po yung sa paglilinis, pero yun po sir, marami pong menu of activities and projects that the different LGUs can actually propose para po yun yung maging mas maitawid natin at magamit natin yung tupad for a more sustainable employment opportunities para sa ating mga kababayan. pati din po doon sa comment po ni Nanay regarding sa job fair, we take note of yung comment na yung tignan po namin kung paano pa namin mas mapapaganda yung access ng ating mga 4Ps because we have initial partnership already with the SWD wherein we conduct specific job fairs for senior high school, for 4Ps beneficiaries. So, may pagkilala po kasi tayo na dapat talaga ay maitawid natin yung ating mga 4Ps beneficiaries to employment para yun po talaga yung magiging way out of their poverty. So, ano po namin yun, sir, but yung rest assured po na hindi lang po yung paglilinis ang core ng tupad, but there are more sustainable projects that we can support under the tupad funds.
Thank you, Asek De Castro. Dito po sa 4Ps, meron po tayong mga gagraduate na, di po ba? Yung sabi natin na medyo not poor na. Paano ito? Biglang nagkaroon tayo ng crisis. Balik na naman. Parang kalintulad po ito nung pandemic. Kalintulad po ito nung mag-secretary ako ng DSWD. Yung pag-graduate na, kailangan bumalik kasi wala eh. So, paano ito ngayon? So, yung mga pag-graduate na, wag mo nang gagraduate dahil mayroon tayong crisis. There's a crisis. Ayusek Dimoporo.
Honorable Chair, for programmatic concerns, I'll turn it over to ASIC Maris and to also further elucidate on our case management.
Doon po sa ating nagta-transition po ngayon na around 200,000 households na talaga na-assess na po sila as self-sufficient. Based naman po yun doon sa kanilang sa SWIDI tool that we are using, naging tumaas na po ang antas na kanilang pamumuhay. They are considered already as self-sufficient households. In fact, this April po talaga is graduating na sila. Completed na po yung kanilang 6 months transition. So, sa tingin po naman namin, hindi naman po dapat maudlot yung kanilang pag-out doon sa program. Kung may mga iba man itong impact naman po nitong oil crisis, may iba namang siguro ibang programa po na pwedeng tumugon, but not necessarily the 4Ps program. Dahil may mga naghahantay na rin po talaga tayo ng mga waitlisted na kinakailangan na rin po makapasok at yun po bagong identified po based doon po sa CBMS na isinagawa po ng Philippine Statistics Authority.
Thank you for that. Anyway, well, for lack of material time, let's discuss po itong Sustainable Livelihood Program natin in our next hearing. Right now, I'd like to thank our resource person for sharing this committee valuable comments and recommendations on the subject matter on hand. Let me remind the resource persons to submit your respective position papers to elaborate on the opinions and positions you have expressed today. And to further enhance the provisions of the proposed amendments to RA number 11310 or the 4Ps Act, I hereby convene the technical working group on Four-Piece Act. Okay? Pero before anything else, I would like to just share this to you. Sana po itong ayuda natin, hindi po ito one time lang. Ano po. Kasi that's what I'm really scared na paano po pag tumagal ito. Paano po umabot ito na hanggang June and we have to prepare and brace ourselves, lalo na po yung mga mahirap na kababayan natin, yung very vulnerable sectors po, yung ating mga manggagawa, lalo pat magpapasukan po. Ngayon nga po, bakasyon mga bata, pabakasyon, nararamdaman po ng bawat pamilya. How much more po pagdating ng pasukan? This is double whammy. Problema na nga, yung pangmatrikula, etc., mga gamit, mataas po yung expenses. That's another problem. So, dudulog po ulit ito mga transport sector na ito na ayuda muli para mga anak nila makapasok sa school pa rin, makapag-aral. Lalo na po ito mga vulnerable na ito, mga 4Ps po ninyo sa DSWD, mga members po nito. Ganon din po yung ating DOLE, mga manggagawa. Ganon din po sa ating mga fisher folks, sa ating po mga magsasaka, mangingisda. Kailangan din po ng tulong kasi pag sasabihin po natin na one time lang po ito, it's not gonna cut. Hindi ho talaga po pwede. Dahil kung ito po ay tatagal hanggang Mayo, Hunyo, Abril po tayo, medyo 1 buwan, 2 buwan po mas mabigat. Kung lumamabot pa po ito ng hanggang Hunyo, which is pasukan na talaga mahirapan. So I guess there should be an effort. And I think meron po tayong ginagawa dito kami sa Senado, yung tinatawag namin protect, okay, to bring all these agencies together and let's put all our heads together to work para sa mga kababayan po natin. We in the government agencies, this is our job. Tayo po dapat manguna dito in a public service. No matter what your capacity in these government agencies, it's our duty. Tayo po nakatingala po sa ating mga kababayan natin. Ano po may tutulong natin sa kanila in this crisis. Anyway, I thank everyone for joining us. With that, the chairman suspend this public hearing. The committee will inform you of the TWG schedule and for the next round of hearing for the Sustainable Livelihood Program. Magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat.